Over the past few weeks, I've received some questions that I wanted to make sure that everybody is clear on ahead of the interview week coming up. So here are some frequently asked questions and their responses. The first is, if I'm cut on day one, should I still attend the dinner? If a firm cuts you on day one and you had planned to go to their dinner either on the first night or the second night, or similarly, if you've already planned to go to lunch with them on day two, you simply don't attend that meal. You are no longer participating in the interview process with that firm. The second question is, can you drop first choice language at dinner on day one, even though the rule generally says you don't give first choice language until day two? And the answer is it depends. If you are sitting in front of, say, a managing partner or a group head or a student director at dinner, and they're leaning in and they're signaling to you hard that they're very interested in you, then it would be appropriate, assuming that firm is your first choice, to let them know you're my first choice. If you still need time to deliberate, or that firm is not your first choice, or frankly, you don't have a senior member of the firm leaning in to say, we really want you, then do not drop first choice at the dinner on day one. Wait for day two and drop first choice language early on in your day two interview with a firm. The next question, isn't attending dinner sufficient to signal to a firm that they are your first choice? The answer is no. Until you clearly state verbally and in writing over email to the student director that a firm is your first choice, it isn't officially on the record. And your behavior, although the signal is strong, is also not sufficient for a firm to conclude that you have given first choice language. The next question is that a recent article in the University of Toronto Law School's student newspaper, Ultra Vires, said that the statistical likelihood of getting one or more offers is higher for candidates who only accept 4 interviews during interview week rather than 5. Why is that? The answer, from my experience, is that students who have 5 firms that they're courting simultaneously through interview week tend to send weaker signals overall. They don't make decisions quickly enough about which firms they're going to focus their attention on, and instead spread themselves too thin, running around to too many coffee chats, dinners, and lunches, and not spending sufficient time with one firm. My advice to you is, if you are one of those candidates who is fortunate enough to have more than 4 firms that they're interviewing with during the interview week, be prepared after day one to start closing doors. This means you're going to choose which 2 or 3 firms to really focus your attention on. You're going to attend those lunches, those dinners. You're going to focus your time on meeting with additional people on day 3 if you want, and really send clear language and spend as much time as possible with those firms. And then you can avoid this statistical drop in success from having more than 4 firms that you interview with. The next question I get is, what should I wear? Now, the standard fare is business formal. What this means for men is that you're in a full suit. The top and the bottom should match. Typical shirts include just light blue or white, and tie colors can be navy, gray, maroon, very limited in terms of patterns, just very formal and corporate. For women, a full suit is also called for. So this can be a dress and a blazer, it can be a pants and blazer, or it can be a skirt and matching blazer. And then what you do is you have a blouse underneath. Again, the corporate colors of gray, black, navy, maroon, white. These are ones that are typically known for. Women can also include a statement piece of jewelry, so a nice necklace, earrings that aren't too ostentatious, but still add some personality, and 1 or 2 rings is also fine if you choose to wear them. Makeup should be daytime professional. The next question is, who should I focus on networking with when I'm at the lunches, dinners, or coffee chats? The answer is that every single person at the firm is important, and so are the other candidates from other schools who are interviewing. You don't want to look like you're playing favorites. You don't want to just spend time talking to partners or the student director. Speak to your fellow candidates who are also interviewing. Speak to the junior associates who are also in the room. Firms take note of how you treat people at every level of the firm. So don't play favorites. Network and spend time with everybody at these sort of networking lunches, dinners, coffee chats, breakfast, in and around the interview process. The last question is, the culture of a practice group at the firm the same as the culture of the firm generally? And the answer is no. Different practice groups will have different subcultures. So let's say a firm is known for being generally very collegial and entrepreneurial, a little bit more of an extroverted vibe, and one that is really focused on student development through healthy competition. Individual practice groups might actually be filled with people who are more introverted, more quiet and academic in nature, less extroverted, less of a face time. Another practice group might be very face time heavy, a lot more competition, a lot more expectations around work product and flow. It's important for you in the interview process to request meeting with people, especially on day 2, who are in your practice groups of interest, because you need to not just understand what the firm culture is to make an informed decision, but you need to understand what the subcultures of the practice groups are. By doing this, you can actually decide which firm you want to give first choice language to and which firms to accept an offer from. And hopefully all of you are successful in doing that. If you have any questions or additional ones beyond this, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or email hannah@hannahdanji.com. Thank you.